Hi there, and welcome to the CyberHut TV's Vendor Introduction Series, where I get to interview amazing founders and leaders in our identity world to understand a little bit more about some of their use cases that they are trying to solve. My name is Simon Moffat, I'm founder analyst at the CyberHut, and in this episode, absolutely thrilled to have Ajit with us from PureID. Ajit, welcome.
Hey, Simon, thank you. Thanks for
Not
having
at
me.
all, not at all. Yeah, not at all. It's great to. I get the easy job of just asking the questions, so I appreciate taking a little bit of time out of your busy world to chat with me today. And for those who've not seen one of these episodes before, I essentially get to ask three very important questions of our esteemed guest, and I always start off with the simple question, which is what is the problem that PureID is looking to solve?
Great. So, Simon, the problem that we see with the existing IAM solutions, the way we allow a user an access is pretty data based. Okay, so the biometrics, passkeys, or passwords, they all are simple data sets. So any end IAM system will just take that data, verify it against the copy of data it has, and then give you the access. But what we feel is access or identity is much more complex. Okay, so there is an actor, there is a base device that user is using, and there's a connection, and then the destination system that you are trying to access. Now, the passwords which the actor is using to send across is just one risk factor that someone can steal that and represent that. Okay, but then there are so many things that can go wrong in the access. Like actor can be an untrusted actor, device can be a compromised device which can affect your destination system, the connection can be a compromised system, and then the credentials itself that the destination system is using to authenticate a user could have been compromised somewhere else and could be used or abused for password spring attack, etc. Right? So existing system, they don't look into all this risk. What they just do is match the data and give you the access, right? So we feel that this has to be changed, and we have to have better model of verifying the user and the risk coming from the user side, and then decide what type of access should be given, whether access should be given or not. So we are trying to solve that problem.
I love that. I love that. If my sort of maths is right, your acronym there was a bit of an A, B, C, D, wasn't it? I think looking at the individual components and breaking it down. And you're right, there is the connection, there's the device, there's that chain of events, if you like, and chain of components. And I think you're right. The bad guys can infiltrate at various different parts of that, whether it's via the device itself, maybe at the session layer, maybe during the authentication event itself, the challenge response, or the password capturing side there. So you're absolutely right. It's lots of moving parts and lots of avenues for the bad guys to infiltrate there. So I guess that merge into the second question. I think it's quite obvious why this is becoming a problem now. It seems to me the bad guys at the minute maybe have a bit of an advantage. Lots of organizations using legacy authentication, single factor authentication, not really looking at sort of verifying it and validating the end user, be that an employee or a partner or whoever. So it seems to be there's multiple areas of weakness there. But I guess in your words, why has this become more of a problem today?
Right. So as the applications are moving to cloud, people are able to access them from anywhere, from any device, right? So when people are accessing it from remotely, then the chances are there that people are not going to the direct application, but they might click on some untrusted or phishing link, and then they are trying to access an application. In that case, you are sending your credentials on a wrong site, or you are sending it to wrong person, and that can be intercepted and presented by a wrong actor, right? So remote access is one thing. Another thing is with BYOD, and when people are or your workforce is accessing your systems remotely, then there is no appropriate posture check, because you are not in network where NAC systems are there, where they are verifying your device and then giving you the access of the network, right? Everything is over on internet, right? So you might be using untrusted device or an infected device, right? And then there are various other ways where other people can constantly keep on trying to access your applications, right? Independently, they can do launch attack, right? if there is a breach at Uber and Uber leaks all my credentials, so someone can take my credentials from there and try to access the account independent of me, right? So these are the risks, like remote work, bring your own device, the cloud movement. All these are fueling these attacks, which traditional IAM solutions are not able to cater. So that's why this problem is urgent, and there is no elegant solution in the market, right? So that's where we bring in the value.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. I think you're absolutely right. There is a perfect storm of deployment sort of uncertainty, isn't there? There's this hybrid, there's cloud, there's SaaS systems in there as well. There's more identities, different identity types. We have this managed device versus bring your own device. Then we have, different sort of token management, token issuance, federation things happening. So there's just lots of moving parts to me. And I think there's, if you are the bad guy with the asymmetric advantage, as they say, it can be a lot easier with so much complexity for the bad guy to either steal a session or impersonate or other things. So I guess that brings us to the third part of this little chat, really, which is, what is your sort of secret sauce? How are PureID sort of tackling this, and how can you guys try and solve some of these problems?
Right. So our innovation is our biggest advantage, or that makes us a best candidate to solve this problem. So rather than using data to prove our identity and decide whether a user should be given access or not, what we use is, if I can give you an analogy, we use a passport-like system where an employee can apply for his digital signatures or like a passport. So an organization can give an equivalent of passport, which we call digital signatures, to every user after verification on an app, on our authenticated app. And using that app, we can staple more privileges, etc., for that user on that app itself. And then when that app is being used to authenticate you, it represents the user uniquely, and the permissions that user has for a particular application. And along with that, the app can check what device you are using, what is the device posture, what is the risk if this device is accessing the application. And based on that, our authentication service can see whether you are the right person, are you a valid employee with the company, still associated with the company, and whatever device you are using, what is the risk if that device connects to the end system. So we can verify all these and then take a better decision or regulate your privileges on the destination application. So we understand the application that you are accessing and the risk from various factors, right? So that's give us an unique advantage to solve this problem. And why I give you the analogy of passport is because passport is unique to you. Even if I get your passport, Simon, I won't be able to travel on that, right? So same is the construct that we have built with digital signatures. Only I can claim and use my digital signatures. But compare that with passkey or passwords. If you get my passwords or passkeys, you will be able to log in as me, right? That's how simple it is, right? So that's why we have invented this digital signatures. It's our patented technology. So that puts us in a very unique space where even if we get compromised and if we leak all the digital signatures, people cannot take those signatures and abuse or impersonate someone. So that's our unique proposition. So that's the reason we are the best solution to solve the problem from all these angles.
Yeah, I think there's absolutely spot on. Things I've jotted down there. Making it out of band, making it more modular, segmented, if you like. All of the classic security constructs of defense in depth, layering, segmentation, and really sort of breaking the problem down into multiple components. And sometimes you can't really control the likelihood of something. In a risk management setting, we talk about sort of likelihood and impact, and sometimes the likelihood is often out of your hands. But I think it sounds like with your sort of solution here, we can reduce the likelihood a little bit, but we can absolutely reduce the impact of this simply based on sort of multi-channel approach there, which it seems fascinating. I think it's clearly another area where it's not going to get any easier. I think these problems will only proliferate further when we have more identities, more systems, more devices, etc. So I think we do need to have a real sort of different way of thinking about authentication, verification, and validation of our identity data. So that's been a fascinating little update there for me, Ajit, on what this space is about and where it's heading. Sounds like you've really thought about what this means, what it means from a risk point of view, and really sort of breaking that down into modular chunks. So thank you for taking a little bit of time out to update our community. I think they'll be thoroughly impressed by some of the things that PureID is doing. So thank you once again. Thank you to our audience for tuning in. This has been another episode in our vendor introduction series, and we will see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you, Simon.